My beloved child, quiet your heart in this season, for this is not the time for you to walk in haste, nor is it the time for you to rely on your familiar calculations to decide everything. There are turns that may seem very small at first glance, yet they carry the weight of destiny. There are words you are about to speak, meetings you are about to enter, choices you think are merely ordinary matters of daily life. But when they are placed in my hands, they become part of the path I am opening before you. Therefore, I am calling you closer, not to make you afraid of making mistakes, but to teach you to walk in awareness. I do not only desire that you achieve what looks good in the eyes of the world, I want you to walk on the right path, at the right time, with the right spirit, in alignment with what I planted within you from the beginning. Remember that speed is not always a sign of guidance. There are paths that move very quickly, but lead you far away from peace. There are doors that open wide, but not every open door is meant for you. There are opportunities that shine brightly on the outside, yet within them they make your heart uneasy. That is why what I want you to seek first is not a quick result, but uprightness in direction. When you choose correctly, even if you move slowly, I can still bring you to where you need to be. But if you rush only because you fear missing something, you may place yourself beneath burdens I never assigned to you. I do not want you to live in the haste of anxiety. I want you to live in the rhythm of grace, where every step is taken only after your heart has been watered by prayer, stillness, and trust. In this season, do not treat prayer as something added afterward, once you have already made your decision. Let it become the place where every decision begins. Let every plan be placed under my light before you stretch out your hand to touch it. Let every desire be purified in my presence, so that you do not confuse what you long for with what I bless. At times, I will lead you through a deep peace that needs no lengthy explanation. At times, I will close a door by making your heart no longer feel at rest before it. At times, I will tell you to wait, not because I am rejecting you, but because the timing is not yet ripe. At times, I will tell you to step forward, even when the signs around you are not yet fully clear, because obedience itself will open the way when your foot is placed down. My child, I never abandon the one who seeks me in the small things. When you ask me about each step, I do not see it as weakness. On the contrary, it is the sign of a heart that has learned that its own wisdom is not enough to complete the holy path. The truly mature person is not the one who no longer needs guidance, but the one who understands that the more they are entrusted with, the more deeply they must depend on me. So do not hesitate to bring before me even the things you consider most ordinary: a reply, a decision, an appointment, a career door, a new connection, an invitation that seems harmless. All of these can become places where I reveal my wisdom. If you are willing to pause and listen, remember Joshua in the days when he led the people into the land that had been promised. He was a man who had witnessed my power. He had seen rivers part, walls collapse, and victories unfold in ways no one could have imagined. But there was a time when the Gibeonites came with poor appearances and a carefully prepared story. The people looked with their eyes, listened with their ears, judged by their own reasoning, and hurriedly made a covenant without first seeking my counsel. Do you see? Even one who has experienced many miracles can still be led astray if he stops asking me for even a moment. That lesson was not recorded to make you afraid, but to remind you that discernment cannot be based on outward appearance. There are things that look reasonable, but do not come from me. There are words that sound sincere, but still need to be examined in the light. There are decisions that, if not placed in prayer, may carry consequences longer than you think. Therefore, my beloved child, I am teaching you a new wisdom, the wisdom of one who knows how to slow down before moving quickly, how to be silent before answering, how to ask me before saying yes, how to examine whether peace is truly there or whether it is only a passing emotion. This is how I protect you from things disguised as opportunities. This is how I keep you from paths that appear radiant but slowly wear down the life within you. When you allow me to guide you, you will not need to panic before the complexity of the future. For I will not give you the entire map at once so that you become proud. Instead, I will shine enough light for the next step so that you remain close to me. And as you learn to walk this way, I also want you to learn how to live more deeply in each day. Every morning when you open your eyes is not merely a new day on the calendar, but an invitation to enter my presence with a renewed heart. Before you allow the world to fill your mind with hurried voices, let your heart be touched by the calm that comes from me. Look at the morning light as a sign that mercy is being made new again. Begin the day with gratitude, even while there are still unfinished matters before you. For the one who knows how to give thanks before everything is fulfilled is the one who has learned to trust me more than circumstances. When night falls, do not let the day pass by as though you failed to recognize grace. Pause and look at how I preserved you, what I kept you from, what I opened for you, and what I quietly arranged that your eyes have not yet fully seen. Some blessings come in the form of an open door, but some blessings come in the form of a delay. Some answers are what you receive, but some answers are what I keep you from entering. When you learn to recognize both, gratitude will become a garment of protection over you. It will keep you tender when blessings come in abundance. It will keep you from the illusion that every good thing came by your own strength. It will cause you to bow your head even when you are being lifted up. You are standing at a holy turning point, where the seeds I quietly placed within you are beginning to stir beneath the soil of time. There are things you thought had been buried, but in truth, they were only being nourished in the depths. There are promises you thought were late, but in truth, they are arriving at the appointed time. There are abilities within you that once lay dormant because of fear, because of wounds, because of prolonged waiting, and now I am awakening them. This season is not only a season for you to continue believing, it is also a season for you to begin seeing confirmation. I will confirm you, not so that you become proud, but so that your heart becomes steady, knowing that what you heard in the secret place was not an illusion. I will confirm you through peace, through the right doors, through pure connections, through lasting fruit, and through arrangements you could not have created by yourself. But understand this, my confirmation does not always appear in a loud way. Sometimes it comes as a gentle certainty within your heart. Sometimes it comes through someone speaking exactly what you had asked me in secret. Sometimes it comes when the things that once opposed you no longer have enough power to hold you back. Sometimes it comes when you realize that you are no longer being pulled backward into old paths, though they once felt very familiar. I am positioning you rightly, not only before the eyes of people, but within the divine order I have appointed. What I have entrusted to you is not random. You are not placed here by accident. You are being led into the portion of work that has been prepared with love, with wisdom, and with my perfect timing. So, my beloved child, enter this season with open hands and knees that know how to bow. Let every decision be bathed in prayer. Let every achievement be held with humility. Let every day become a place where you meet me more deeply. Do not run so fast that you forget my voice. Do not become so focused on results that you lose intimacy with the one who gives the results. I will lead you, step by step. I will teach you to distinguish between what is good and what is right, what is attractive and what is anointed, what is convenient and what truly belongs to you. And as you continue to listen, you will see that the path ahead does not need to be fully illuminated in order to be trustworthy. As long as my hand is holding yours, the next step is enough to bring you into the place I have prepared. My beloved child, when a door opens before you, do not quickly see it as a reward for you to exalt yourself. Instead, recognize it as a new altar upon which you offer gratitude. Every step forward, every opportunity, every word of praise, every person touched through your life is not meant to place you at the center, but to remind you that my hand has quietly led you through seasons no one saw. If today you can speak a word that lifts someone up, if you can be present and bring peace to someone who is troubled, if you can become a sign of hope in a dry place, it is not because you have become great by yourself, but because you allowed me to shape you during the hidden months and years. What you have is not ownership for you to cling to, but a stewardship for you to use with reverence, with gentleness, and with a heart that always turns toward me. Therefore, learn to turn every achievement into a quiet song offered up to me. When others come to you, do not let them stop at admiration for you, but gently lead them closer to the source of light that lifted you up. You are only a vessel being filled, not the source of water. You are only a lamp being lit, not the sun. You are only a hand I use to touch someone at the exact moment they need comfort, awakening, or encouragement. When you understand this, influence will not burden you with pride, nor will it frighten you with pressure. It will become a pure flow, where you receive from me and then give away, without boasting, without possessing, without trying to build a throne for yourself in the hearts of others. My child, be careful with the measurements of the world. The world likes to count how many people see you, to measure how quickly you rise, to ask how many people have recognized you, how far you have gone, and whom you have surpassed. But I do not measure you by those things. I look to see whether you still keep humility when you are lifted up. I look to see whether you still know how to return to the quiet place when applause becomes loud. I look to see whether you still place me before you when opportunities begin to come in abundance. There are people who lose their purity, not in hardship, but on the day they are noticed. There are people who stand firm when they are forgotten, but tremble when they are celebrated. So I remind you with the love of a father, do not let your eyes be captured by the surface of success. Keep your gaze on me, because only when you remain connected to me will what has been given to you not become a burden or a trap. What is opening before you is not the end, my beloved. It is only the dawn of a new season. I have not finished what I desire to do through you. There are outcomes you have never imagined being prepared in the secret place. There are people you have not yet met who will be lifted up by a word you speak in sincerity. There are places that are dry, not because they lack noise, but because they lack pure presence. And when you enter with obedience, my freshness will begin to spread. Do not underestimate a small word of encouragement. Do not underestimate an act of kindness no one acknowledges. Do not underestimate a decision to keep your heart upright when no one is checking you. Small things sown in faithfulness can become a harvest greater than anything you have ever asked for. I want you to remember the boy who offered 5 loaves and 2 fish on a day when the crowd was hungry and weary. He had nothing impressive, no storehouse of food, no grand plan to impress everyone. He had only a very small portion in his hands. But when that small portion was placed in the hands of the one who has power to fill every lack, it became a meal for many. Do you see? What creates the miracle is not the size of what is offered, but the heart that is willing to give it to me. In the same way, you may think your words are too simple. Your experience is not great enough. Your ability is still limited. But when you place it all in obedience, I can cause that small thing to reach places your feet have never touched. A fragment of bread in your hands can become abundance in mine. Therefore, when I expand your influence, do not first ask, "How much more will I be seen?" Ask instead, "Father, can I love with greater purity? Can I be more deeply faithful? Can I become a bridge for others to come closer to true life?" That is the question of one who has matured in grace. I am not looking for glitter in you. I am looking for a heart that does not forget its source. I do not need you to fight for position, because what I have prepared for you cannot be taken by anyone. I do not need you to prove your worth by standing out, because you were precious in my sight before any result appeared. What I desire from you is purity of motive, endurance in what is right, and a love wide enough not to turn others into steps for your own ambition. You once obeyed in things no one saw. You once chose what was right when what was wrong seemed easier. You once continued sowing seeds even when you had not yet seen rain. You once kept your heart tender even when you were misunderstood, underestimated, and overlooked. Those years were not wasted. I used them like a season in which roots quietly grew deep into the soil. The deeper the roots, the more the tree can stand firm before strong winds. Now, as the fruit begins to appear, do not forget that fruit does not grow in a single day. It is the result of abiding, of the many times you chose to return to me, of the moments when you laid down your own will to learn how to walk according to the way I showed you. But I also want you to understand clearly, what is about to be revealed is not success as the world defines it. It is not merely the expansion of reputation, not merely more opportunities, not merely numbers that impress others. What I am doing is allowing others to see life that is born from intimate connection with me. It is the fruit of a heart that has been refined, of a person who has passed through fire without losing love, of a life that no longer only asks what it can receive, but begins to ask what it can give in righteousness. When you live this way, you become a garden where the weary can find shade, a small stream where the thirsty can be refreshed, a sign that I am still moving even in days that seem barren. Keep walking, my beloved, but walk with humility. Receive the doors that are opening, but do not forget to bow your head in gratitude. Allow me to use your voice, your story, your presence, and even the lessons you have walked through. But never let them become a place where you build glory for yourself. When someone is lifted up through you, smile and quietly offer them back to me. When a great opportunity comes, enter it with clean hands and an awakened heart. When the result exceeds what you expected, remember that I can do abundantly more than you imagine. But I am always searching for one who can carry abundance and still keep a simple heart. And I say to you today, do not underestimate the life of one who has chosen faithfulness instead of chasing glory, humility instead of rivalry, love instead of condemnation. Such a person can shake dry lands without the sound of loud drums. Such a person can open the way for many to return to the light simply by living a truthful life. You are the one I am continuing to prepare, continuing to send, continuing to enlarge in the time I have appointed. Stay close to me, and you will see that what I do through you will not stop with what your eyes are seeing today. This is only the beginning of a season of holy fruitfulness, where every good thing ultimately returns to me, the one who loved you, called you, preserved you, and entrusted you with the privilege of sowing life in this world. My beloved child, pause for a moment and look back at the road you have traveled, not to awaken old pain, nor to make you sink into former days, but so that you may recognize that every trembling step you took was preserved by me. There were seasons when you walked as one who had no strength left. There were nights when you thought you would collapse in a place where no one truly understood. There were moments when you had to gather the broken pieces within yourself and keep living as though you were still okay. But I saw it all. I saw the tears you quickly wiped away, the prayers you never spoke aloud, the times you chose silence, not because you were weak, but because you did not want bitterness to control you. Today, I want you to look back not with shame, but with deep gratitude, because you were not buried by the place that once wounded you. The marks that remain in your life are not proof of failure. My child, they are witnesses to my preservation. What once caused you pain no longer has the authority to define you. What once made you think you had lost the beauty within you has become the very place where I pour in new tenderness. The world often honors what appears whole, shiny, and untouched by collision. But I do not see you by that measure. I see a heart that was once cracked, yet did not close itself to love. I see a person who passed through dryness without allowing the heart to become barren. I see within you a garden that was once beaten by fierce winds. Yet in the soil there are still holy seeds waiting for the day they will sprout. Therefore, do not despise what you have survived. There are people who only see your smile today, but do not know how you had to learn to breathe in peace again. There are people who only see your strength, but do not know how many times I lifted you up in the secret place. There are people who think you are naturally steady, but I know that steadiness was built from the times you chose not to retaliate, not to give up, not to lose your kindness, even when you had enough reasons to become hardened. It was there that you were rebuilt, not to return to who you were before, but to step into a new life that is deeper, brighter, stronger, and more real. Hear me speak to you with all the gentleness of a father. You are no longer imprisoned by what is past. You are no longer a prisoner of the words others once spoke, of the doors that once closed, of the hands that once let go of you when you needed to be held up. Those who left your life did not carry your value away with them. Those who betrayed your trust have no right to rewrite your name. Those who once underestimated you cannot make you small in my sight. You belonged to me before anyone knew your name, and that position was not created by human acceptance, so it cannot be taken away by human rejection. I am undoing within you the invisible knots you have carried for too long. There are harsh words that once lodged deeply in your memory like sharp thorns, causing you pain each time they return to mind. There are sentences that seem to have passed, but still quietly echo within you, making you wonder whether you are lovable, whether you are good enough, whether you are worthy of good things. Today, I place my hand upon those places. I remove each thorn with patient love. I do not rush to rebuke you because you are still hurting. I do not blame you because sometimes you still tremble when remembering the old things. I only draw near, embrace the deepest part of you, and remind you that what others said in pain, selfishness, or blindness is not the final verdict over your life. Remember Gideon, the one who hid in secret because of fear, the one who saw himself through weak circumstances and thought he could never do anything great. When I sent the angel to him, I did not call him according to the fear he was carrying, nor according to the low view he had of himself. I called him by the name of what I saw in him. In human eyes, he was only a man hiding. In my sight, he was a man appointed for deliverance. Do you see? My beloved child, I do not wait for you to become confident before I call you valuable. I call you by the truth of heaven before you have enough courage to believe it about yourself. And just as I patiently led Gideon step by step out of fear, I am also leading you out of the old definitions you unknowingly accepted. Perhaps you lived too long under the shadow of judgments, until you began to think they were the truth. Perhaps you became used to apologizing for your existence, shrinking your voice, hiding your light, and thinking peace would only come if you pleased everyone. But today, I break that deception. You were not born to live as someone who must constantly prove that you are worthy of love. You do not need to purchase love by losing yourself. You do not need to hold on to connections that make your heart wither simply because you are afraid of being left behind. I am bringing you into a more spacious place where you can breathe, stand upright, and receive the truth that you are, my child, covered by a love that does not change according to human emotions. From now on, when old memories try to return and call you by the name of disappointment, be still and remember my word. You are not your wound. You are not your mistake. You are not your weakest days. You are the one I lifted up, the one I preserved, the one I renewed in deep layers no one could see. The things that once broke you will no longer be chains, but a testimony of my restoring power. I can use the very place that once hurt the most to release tenderness for others. I can turn a land that seemed scorched and dry into a garden with shade. I can turn yesterday's sigh into today's song of peace. So, my beloved, do not look at the marks in your life as things that must be hidden. Look at them as places I have touched. Every healed mark declares that you passed through fire and were not burned up, passed through deep waters and were not swept away, passed through rejection and still retained the capacity to love, passed through a dry season and still kept the spring of life within you. And it is that spring of life that I will use to sow something new. The seeds I placed within you will not die because of the past. They will grow from the very soil softened by tears, from the very place where you thought nothing could ever bloom again. Remember this, my child, a true guide does not need to tightly grasp the hands of others to pull them along. A true guide only needs to walk in clarity, so that those who are searching for the way can see a path. I have not called you to control anyone's destiny. I have called you to become a sign of freedom, a presence pure enough to cause falsehood to reveal itself, a heart steady enough not to be swept away by the chaos of others. My light in you does not need to argue with darkness to prove that it is real. It only needs to keep burning. When you live uprightly, crooked things will see that they no longer have a place to hide. When you keep your heart in peace, the noise around you will gradually lose its power to rule. When you refuse to compromise with what weakens your dignity, you are quietly opening a door for others to remember that they too can choose again. Do you remember the story of the little Israelite girl in Naaman's house? She did not sit on a throne, did not hold power in her hands, had no army to protect her, and had no position that could force anyone to listen to her. She was only a small person in a circumstance she did not choose, living in a foreign land, carrying within her the memory of her homeland and faith in the power of the Most High. Yet in the very place where it seemed she had no voice, she offered a simple word of direction, and that word became the bridge that led a powerful man toward healing. Look deeply. My beloved child, true influence does not always come from the highest place. Sometimes it comes from a pure heart, from a word spoken at the right time, from someone who seems small but has not lost faith. That girl did not control Naaman, did not force him to believe, and did not claim to be the source of healing. She only pointed toward the place where there was light, and one word spoken from faith opened the way for a miracle. In the same way, you do not need to become the loudest voice in the room. You only need to become the truest voice when I prompt you to speak. There are people who will awaken not because you speak much, but because they see you live differently. They will recognize that you are no longer manipulated by old things, no longer reacting from former wounds, no longer rushing to prove your value before those who do not know how to treasure you. The peace within you will make them wonder how you can stand firm. The freedom within you will cause them to see the invisible chains in their own lives. Your gentleness after pain will help them understand that being healed does not mean forgetting everything. It means no longer allowing the old things to rule the heart. Therefore, hold on to humility as one holds a precious flame. When your influence grows, do not let praise make you forget your source. When others come to you, do not turn their trust into a private throne. When you see that you can touch more people, return even more to the secret place, where I shaped you, wiped away your tears, and taught you to discern the call of grace from the echo of pride. The more you are entrusted with, the more tender you must remain before me. For the one placed as a light must not allow their lamp to burn with the oil of self-satisfaction. That lamp must be nourished by truth, mercy, awareness, and love untainted by possession. I want you to understand that this responsibility is not a burden meant to frighten you, but a sign that you have been trusted. I am not bringing you forward so that you will be crushed by the expectations of others. I am bringing you forward so that you may become a witness that a person can be lifted out of the place that once held them captive. Your life will declare that lies are not the end. Bondage is not destiny, and being lost is not the final sentence. When you walk in the light, you are not only walking for yourself, you are leaving footprints for those who will come after you. And there will be people who, in their most desperate moments, will look at those footprints and realize if you were able to come out of darkness, then they too can be led back into peace. So, my beloved child, do not shrink back simply because you are afraid you are not enough. I am not searching for someone flawless and perfect. I am searching for someone who knows how to rely on me, who knows how to keep an upright heart, who knows how to speak the truth in love, and who knows how to stand firm without becoming hard. Let your life become a gentle invitation. Let your presence remind others that they do not need to continue living in what causes them to wither. Let the light I placed within you touch the world, not by pressure, not by noise, not by the ambition to be exalted, but by enduring truthfulness. For when you live according to what I have placed within you, your influence will not only echo for a moment, it will quietly sow seeds in many hearts. And in the appointed season, those seeds will bloom into freedom, peace, and new life.